Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be playing with a couple of the club kits from Spellbinders. My plan right now is to use the new card front floral glimmer plate and the branching out embossing folder. Right now I've got my glimmer system off to the side heating up with that lovely flower on top. So that's going to be ready to go in just a couple of minutes. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and emboss a couple of panels using the branching out. This has got a bunch of real pretty leaves, basically all the greenery that would go along with some flowers. And I'm just going to do that on some green cardstock. Now, since I know that I'm going to want to trim the panel down, I'm going to go ahead and trim it down first. I rarely do that. I normally don't think about it till the last minute. I'm actually trying to think about it ahead of time for a change. Okay, so these are going to be cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm doing 2, which means I'm probably going to do 2 cards. I've got a couple of ideas, so we shall see. Now, this is already ready to go. So that means I'm going to go ahead and take out some foil and get that one, hit the timer, and get it ready. So I've got my foil here. It needs to go about like that. Let me go ahead and trim it down. Do not have my AC on, so it's not blowing all over the place for a change. Yay! And you want to place the shiny, pretty side facing your glimmer plate. That's what you want to do every time. And I'm just going to move it over just a touch. I do have some tick marks in the corners here that show me where an A2 size card panel would go. So I'm going to go ahead and just place that down and then add my card panel right over and line it up with those tick marks. This is going to help me to line up my card pretty much straight. And for this one, I'm going to place that is getting pretty warm. Anyway, I'm going to place my flower right in the center. Okay, so next we need our thin shim and our spacer pad. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the timer button and again place that off to the side so I can emboss these panels. So let's go ahead and run that through. And there we go. I love that look. I always want to add a little extra greenery to a lot of floral cards, and this is a great way to do that. So my glimmer system is ready to go now, so we're going to go ahead and run that one through too. And that is super, super lovely. I'm going to do another couple of panels. Okay, these are so pretty. So, yeah, I'm going to do something else too. I've already got a couple of cards in mind, but now here comes a third. I've got my hot foil plates from Spellbinders. This one is the rectangle, the Essential Glimmer Solid Rectangle, already heated up. And I'm going to take the waste foil and we're going to make another panel. I think I still want to keep going with the white. So this is going to be silver, because the silver panel, right? With a white, with basically all of the white lines. So what I'm going to do again, just like before, is place this on my glimmer system, shiny side down. Yeah, I do want to go with a rectangle, so I'm going to go that way and try to make sure that it's, yeah, it looks like it's going to pick up the entire image. And then I'm going to place this kind of in the middle. Now I can trim this down if I need to and, you know, make everything nice and aligned and all that. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit the timer. I am going to run the timer twice to make sure it gets nice and hot. These, because of it being a solid plate, the larger the plate, the more heat it's going to probably need. And with this, I don't have to really worry about overfoiling because I want to transfer all of the foil, right? So I'm going to heat that up a couple of times. Let's go ahead and set that to the side and try not to jar it. And yeah, so this is what my little panels look like. I also went ahead and did a couple of sentiment while I was getting everything done here. So I've got my backgrounds, I've got a couple of pretty panels. This one is the big one that's going to go in the center there. And I think on this first one, let's go ahead and work on it. I'm going to add some color just with some inks. So I'm going to use some of my Simon Hurley inks. to color this up. And one of these, this is actually just a brush I got from Amazon. And I'm just going to add this, right now I'm going to just start off with the green and just add that right over my little flower leaves here. And I think I'm going to blend it out a little bit more, just using a little bit of water. Kind of give it a little bit of a watercolory look. I'm using regular cardstock, so for that reason you don't want to go too heavy-handed on all of the water because it can cause some issues. So for the inside of my flower, I'm going to be using Remember Me. Oh, and I do think I want to do a little bit of Slippery When Wet for the center. I'm going to do that first, otherwise I am going to completely forget. Just adding a little bit of water in the center and then grabbing up some of the ink. And I'm going to leave this to the side because after this dries, I think I might want to actually add a little bit more of the color down. That'll deepen the color. So you can do multiple layers. If you do, just like with regular watercolor, because that's what this basically works out to be, you can layer up the colors if they are dry, if they are wet colors, then they're going to blend. Stop recording. So I'm starting with the blue in the center, and I'm going to go over it a couple of times so that it's going to be darker in the center and fade out to light. And I have a bigger brush too. So I can get more of it done at once. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in and do some more of the yellow. Okay, this time I'm putting down some darker color right at the base of each of those petals, and I'm coming in mostly with just the ink so it can put a lot of that color down. And then I'm going to come back one more time. I'm experimenting, guys. Okay, you guys know me. I am seat in my pants. But I'm going to come back in with some water and some lighter color and try to just fade it out a little bit going towards the ends of the petals. I think this is turning out really pretty just the way it is so far though. So if you decide to do something similar to this, just now keep on going until you get the look that you want. Okay, back to the bigger brush and a little bit of water. And kind of just sweeping it out to the edges. So I did two more. So I did the one in blue, and I did 2 more in the red. So this one is using bee sting, and now I'm going to do some cutting on this because I want to add these in basically coming in from the sides. Yeah, I'm going to have this layered up and foamed up and all the fun things. So I do need to cut this one out, and I think I'm going to leave, to make it easier, I'm going to leave a little bit of a white border all the way around. So just the same kind of fussy cutting that you would do if you were doing a stamped image. Okay, I changed my mind and decided to go right up to the edge on all that pretty foil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come in from the edges. So on 2 sides, on 2 of the corners. Haven't decided which 2 yet, but I'm going to come in from the side. So first I'm going to put some foil, put some foam up near the top, near the edge. And then I'll put them in place, and then I can trim off the excess. I'm not going to put a whole lot on there because I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to actually use. I just need enough to make sure that it adheres down to the corner, and then I can add more if I need to once I get them in place. Okay, so I'm going to go with that, and then do the same kind of thing on this corner. So we can see plenty of that background, and we've got our flowers there. So now I'm going to take my longer scissors and just trim right up to the edge of my embossed panel. Okay, ready to see what it looks like? So I think that is very pretty. Now there are some pieces that I want to have a little bit more stable, especially since this cardstock was wet. So I am going to put some more foam under like those leaves that are sticking up so that they're going to stay adhered down and don't kind of fold back on themselves. And just cutting some smaller pieces, and then I can put them on there using my tweezers. So I backed one. It's not lined up perfect. I'm using removable adhesive, but I've got this one backed on a white matting to see what it's going to look like, because I'm afraid that the green might get lost, and I do want the sentiment to still pop, right? So that's one option. And then when I put right side up, put this one down, I think I do like it better without the matting. I thought I was going to like it better with one, so we're going to add this one down. Just using some of my Barely Arts glue here, and I'm just going to adhere that right down onto the embossed panel. And then I can adhere the entire thing down onto my card base. And there we have our first thank you card. Stop recording. For our second panel, this is the one with the pretty blue flower. I cut the panel down to about 3.5 by 4 3/4 so that I can have some of my green panel here showing still. I want to show off that embossing, you know? And I'm just adding a bunch of foam tape to the back. Because of the water, because we did that little bit of watercoloring on here, it does kind of warp the panel, especially if it is regular cardstock like what I used. So the foam is going to help keep that pretty much flat. So we're going to put that right in the center, and that's going to give us a nice about a 1/4 inch border all the way around, so it shows off some of that embossing. And then we can glue this one down to our card base. And then we can add that thanks sentiment to this one as well. And that's our second foiled card done. Okay, let's take a look. And I like to try to let it cool just a little bit. Some foils need hot peel, some need cold peel. I find that hot foil tends to be a little bit more on the cold peel. But let's go ahead and take a look. It's cooled off a little. And I think that is lovely. Now, one thing about this one, it was a little bit higher up at the top, so I probably should have positioned my card a little bit different. Done another one using another one of those backgrounds, and you can see this one is kind of sort of more centered. So what I'm probably going to do with this one is trim right along that silver edge. So that panel is going to look fabulous on its own. This one, I can leave a little bit of the white around it before I mount it down to the next part of my card. So that means you don't have any waste when you're using one of these solid shapes. There are a lot of different ones. I like the rectangle. It just kind of gives me that smaller than A2 size. It fits perfect on my cards, and I do kind of like that rectangle shape. But there's hearts, there's circles, there's all sorts of different designs, and there are a ton of different ones you can get at Spellbinders. So anyhow. So I've got another idea. I thought I was almost done, but I really wanted to play with these two. So I'm going to, we have the one that's got the nice white border. Great. I want nice white border around my other ones. So I'm going to do something I haven't done in a bit and put it down onto a card panel and just do a little bit of trimming around the edges. So it's got about 1/4 inch all the way around. I used to do this all the time for matting layers, and I haven't done that in a bit. So these basically look very similar. This one is a little bit smaller, but that is fine. So I'm going to do the same thing with this last one because I did do 3 because I did 3 of the other. So just adhering this down. Give it a little bit of a border. And I'm eyeballing it, guys. I'm not being precise on this. It should be right about 1/4 inch. Also on my paper trimmer, I've got this thumb guard. That ridge there is right about 1/4 inch. So that's what I usually use just to kind of give me an idea. And then I like to make sure that everything is square because that's the OCD part of me. And now we've got 3 front panels for 3 different cards. So I've pulled out some card panels from my stash. So this one is a pretty dark blue and matches really, really well with the royal blue wax seals that I got in the wax seal of the month. I am going to trim this one down a little bit too. Yes, I have plenty of room. So I'm going to go down to my standard 4 by 5 1/4. So it gives that little bit of a white border all the way around my card. And I'll go ahead and adhere this down onto this pretty blue. And next, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of blue to the center of the card too. So this time I'm going to grab out my Catherine Pooler suede shoes because the color matches really, really well. And I'm just going to do a little bit of blue over the top of that. It's not going to hurt the foil. I'm going to wipe the foil down so it's not going to have any of that residue on there. But that is pretty much it. I think I might want to come in with a little bit of green also for my leaves. And I do probably want to mask it off a little bit. So, yeah, this is me seating my pants again, guys, because I didn't think about this before, or I would have done it before putting everything down. So here we go. I've got a little bit on that side. And put some tape down on this side, just so it doesn't get onto my white border. And now I'll grab out green brush, and let's go with that Simon Hurley green ink we were using earlier. So I'll use some Later Gator for this. And the wax seal of the month for this month was Made with Love. So I've got that one out, and I'm going to make a couple wax seals to put on here. I do like making them separate. That's just me, and that is because I don't want to mess up if I do my wax seal wrong. So if I do them separate, then I won't have a problem. So I'm going to pour them out onto a silicone mat. So I've got my silicone mat here. I've got my wax seal. I've got some cold water in case I need it to cool it down a little bit. And then I've got my wax seals melting away over here. Okay, so it's all nice and melted. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that out into a nice little circle. And we're going to place our seal down. Okay, I'm going to give it a minute to cool down a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and pull it up and see how it looks. Okay, and that looks lovely. I'll go ahead and make another one. And there is a little bit of wax still left in the bowls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few little wax dots, similar to enamel dots. I think this is just such a cool idea and gives you a little extra something to put on the card that's going to be a perfect match. So next I'm going to do another one. Since one of the cards we've got in that pretty royal blue, the next one, the background color is going to be a teal. So I'm going to use the new teal mix. This one is brand new from Spellbinders, just came out in January 2024. So I'm going to use some of those, and I'm not worried about mixing it in with the blue. You know, the blue it'll make it a little bit darker maybe, but if I use, say, couple of the lighter colors of teal, it should kind of even it out. And I kind of like the mixture too. These are real pretty marbled, so I've made a couple already on another card, so you'll have to check out that video. I'll be sure to leave a link down below for you guys. And I'm also going to add in some gold, so I'm going to make a couple of these. This teal mix comes in 3 shades of teal. We've got a light, a medium, and then a darker, and then it's got this pretty gold that goes in there too. So I'm using the 2 lighter shades of teal, I think. Yes, I think I need to put one more in each of those. So there we go. So when that's ready to go, I can make a couple more seals. Let's take a look at this one. And perfect. Okay, so you see all those colors. I did a mix last time. Last time I used my little silicone nail wand, I guess is what it was called, to mix it together a little bit to make it look kind of marbled. This time I'm going to pour it directly, and we're going to see how that looks. Ooh, it gives it a bit more of a swirl. I think that looks kind of cool. Let me dry off my wax seal from where I had it cooling before. That's something else I noticed, is that you can get kind of a wonky design if it's still got water on it. There we go. And I am actually pressing because it did have time to cool a little bit. You want to make sure you put it down there as quick as you can once it's ready to go. Okay. Give that a second to cool down a little bit. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, I love that one. A lot of times if you have different colors in one of your mixes, it may make it so busy you can't read it. But in this case, the colors work so well together that it turned out perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and add... Yeah, I like this. I'm going to go ahead and add my wax seal to the front. Now I've got 3 cards now. I did go back in and use another of the new mixes. This one is basic. It's got black and white and gold and silver. And I just used the silver, black, and white and created this lovely marbled look. Mostly because that other card is all silver, black, and white. So I'm going to just add a bunch of glue. Take off the fine tip applicator from my glue. Just add a bunch of glue. And just pop this guy right down. Have it kind of at an angle. I really like that look. There we go. And I've got some little beads. So I'm going to go ahead and do this part first, let those dry a little bit, and then I can start adding on the little embellishments. And that's going to finish up that card. Let's do the same thing for the last two. Yeah, I started off just planning on making a couple of cards, and now I've got 5. So that is going to finish up this video using the Glimmer of the Month, Embossing Folder of the Month, and the Wax Seal of the Month. Oh my goodness, made a lot of cards, plus a couple of cards using some of the new wax mixes that just came out this month. So you guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out the playlist to see some more videos where I'm using Spellbinders products. And do me a favor, smash that like button, give me a share, and comment down below as well as to which is your favorite of these 5 cards. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.